Allegedly, allegedly, some people enjoyed the train memes at the start of the last two Elden Ring streams, and therefore, in order to quell popular demand coming from the Discord server and elsewhere, we'll play some more trains. What we'll do is we'll we'll just drive some trains and we'll do an ask me anything. Is that the right term? Not that you want to necessarily get the answers from me. It could be anything. You could ask me about the history of Gamefront. That's one of my favourite topics. You can ask me about Filefront. You can ask me about mods. You can ask me about James and Zach and Mitch and all that stuff. You can ask me about Mod.io. You can ask me about ModDB. You can ask me about trains. You can ask me about anything you like. And I will endeavour, to the best of my abilities, to answer your questions. Plus, we might learn some facts about trains. So how exciting is that? Yes. All right then. Let's go to the trains. Choose a route. The last two times I've done this, we were playing the Birmingham Cross City route, which is the one that I've been playing the most of lately because it's the newest one and it's quite fun and I quite like it. Also, you get the best view out the window because the one thing about this game, which is kind of annoying, is if you look at like this train, it's got like tiny windows, and if you look at this train, it's got like tiny windows, and if you look at this train, it's got like tiny windows, and if you look at this train, it's got like tiny windows, and if you look at these trains, they've got tiny windows. If you look at this train, it's got tiny window, and the underground one is mostly underground. So, you know, Great Western Express is good. If you like American stuff, you've got Boston Sprinter. Further down, you've got some old school North Transpennine stuff. That's kind of interesting, I guess. Germany, rapid transit stuff. You've got the big locos on the St. Patch grade. You've got the Schnellfahrstreckenkoln, which I did that route when I went to Gamescom earlier this year, so that's fun. I like the Koln route. It's one that I've done. You got like the industrial northeast of England in the 80s. Got the seaside with the West Cornwall local, but again, small windows. Some heritage action. The Cajon Pass. I haven't played that one yet, but Cajon Pass is quite popular, I believe. Some more Germany stuff. And then, you got steam trains now too, so you've got the Spirit of Steam. I can just about drive steam trains, but it's kind of difficult. But we can give that a go if people want. So we will see. I think no one's actually going to turn up for an actual Hello, Mikey. Don't at everyone. No. Yeah, no one's going to turn up for this. Let's just play Birmingham Cross City again. Should we do a scenario? No, the scenarios are kind of crap because I've only got two I haven't done. And one of them's in the snow, which is shit, and one of them's in a thunderstorm, which is also shit. I don't know. I don't know. Let's do the London Underground. It's a bit different, isn't it? Let's do the Bakerloo line. The great thing about the new Bakerloo line in this game is that they've got like the proper timetable now, so it's like really like intense trains all the time. Like every 3 minutes there's a train, and you can just kind of cruise around, and it's good stuff. But if we do Harrow, and Wealdstone to the Elephant Castle, don't everyone for a train stream. Just don't bother. Stop. Just stop now. Stop. We have a big reason to use that announcement soon. And if you ping everybody, then they're just gonna mute us, and we're not gonna actually get them to pay attention to the really important shit. Oh, you used here. Oh, that's almost as bad. Ay. Mikey, please. Mikey, please. Alright then. This is the Bakerloo line on the London Underground. These are the 1972 stock trains. I should try and stop my mouse from waving around so fast. These are the 1972 stock trains. They were, by virtue of their name, built in 1972. This one is number 227, as you can see there. Yeah, and we're at Harold and Wealdstone, which is at the outermost edge of the line. To your left, you can see the West Coast Main Line, which is where trains run between London, Euston, and Glasgow Queen Street, with a bit going up to Manchester Piccadilly. But this is the Bakerloo line. It's on the London Underground, and it goes through the centre of London, stopping at such places as Paddington and London places. Baker Street and Waterloo. That's why it's called the Bakerloo. Yeah, so we're in what we call the head shunt. A head shunt is basically where you come in on one track and then you go back out on the other. And I just thought I'd mention that because I like the term head shunt. I like the Bakerloo line because it's quite intense. Obviously, as a London Underground, it's like short stations. You get quite fast, and then you have to stop pretty quickly, and it's very hard to keep to the timetable because it's quite intense. The London Underground. If you've ever been on it, it's like a train every couple minutes. Sometimes even I haven't even set my train up properly. So the thing with that is, so we put the direction selector into Inter. And then we take our power handle and move it all the way around to off and release. And then we press Q to reset the warning system. And then we put it back and forward. And now we can apply power. We only really need shunt because we're only going a very slow speed into Harold and Wealdstone. The nice thing about the latest updates is, look, they've put like freight trains in on the West Coast Main Line and stuff. So it's a bit more lively. And when we get to Wembley, you can see Wembley Stadium. You can also see the trains in Wembley Depot. It's exciting. How am I alive? I don't know. It's a very good question, really. I suppose my family line should have ended some time ago. The tracks are broken up? What do you mean? Okay, open the doors. If you mean, do you mean this? Like these gaps? So this rail in the middle is the return rail, and this rail on the outside is what they call the juice rail, or it's the power rail. So there are little shoes on the bottom of the train, and it's like in you know, it's your positive and your negative really. So this one provides the power, and this returns it back. And they don't have to be continuous because there are shoes all along the train. So as long as one part of the train is connected to the juice rail and the return rail, then it's fine. Everything works. So they don't have to be continuous, and they can't really, because if you go over points and things, then there needs to be gaps in them. So, because the London Underground uses what we call the third rail system, even though there's 4 rails. It's funny that, isn't it? As opposed to the West Coast Main Line here, which uses an overhead electrical system, where the power is provided by an overhead line with a pantograph, and the actual rails act as the return rails, but... no, I can't. This is as fast as I can go. Don't worry. So the next stop is going to be Kenton. I can potentially crash. Go off the rails. So on the London Underground, you have to be quite aggressive. So you kind of come in very fast, and then you just go hot on the brakes as you go in. It's quite intense, really, actually. It's possible. I've done it before, where I've launched into outer space due to a fizz glitch. Well, it's actually it's hard to do now, and they've fixed a lot of that stuff. It's not really doable, but also they have an official time with Pringles because reasons. I've never seen Pringles on a vending machine because how the fuck do you get a can of Pringles out of there? But stay in the game with the less mess snack. They did a promotional tie-in where if you bought a can of Pringles, you could enter yourself into a competition, and if you won the competition, then they'd put you in a game. They will put you in the game as a vending machine man, refilling the machine full of Pringles. So, you know, reasons. Mikey, why did you ping everyone? Look what you've done. Hello, Amy. Hello, Scorpion DH. I'm not sure who that is. Yeah, Pringles. Pringles are good. Pringles are what do they say? Once you pop, you cannot stop. We're not sponsored by Pringles. The game is sponsored by Pringles. But best Pringles. I mean, like the just the regular plain ones are good. Like I quite like the chive and onion one maybe. But I like spicy stuff lately, and they've been doing. Well, recently they did. They did one with jalapeno kind of flavor, and that one was good. I like that one. Where's the stop marker on this platform? There it is. Texas barbecue. That's a good point. Yeah. The plain ones, I think, in a weird way, are the most Moorish because you can kind of just go for the plain ones. Like things like Texas barbecue, it's kind of like I don't know. You get sick of them after a bit. You can only eat like maybe one tub, maybe 2 tubes if you're feeling bold. So when we leave on a 1972 stock, you normally go into series first, and then get up to about 8 miles an hour, and then you go into parallel. And parallel gives you more power, but you can't start in parallel because your wheels will just spin on the spot. So that's why we slowly ramp up the speed there. You can use shunt as well, but shunt is just kind of like if you need to go slow, really. So you can just go straight into series. And brake on. Doing very well so far. I don't think I've overshot. I've not gone too fast. I haven't missed any platforms. I think we are running... Well, we're not late. We're about 10 seconds late at the moment. 11, 12. We'll see when we open the actual doors. 19 seconds late currently. I genuinely think I could drive a train just fine, to be honest. In fact, I have driven a train just fine on a couple of occasions. Not a train like this one. But I drove a Class 47 once, if you Google that. That was good fun. That was a big boy train. It was a very old train, though. I didn't go far or fast. It's about 10 miles an hour in Bury somewhere. But it was fun. It was good fun. And then I've driven a little shunter train because a friend of my brother's owns it, and that's based in Preston. Because they have a little railway in Preston, which was good fun. So, yeah, trains. Can't drive a car, can't drive a plane, can't you know, I think I could do boats, but I've driven a boat before, but yeah, it's not like in flight sim. Like I can do flight simulator, but I wouldn't want to fly a plane. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially since I've never ever been able to successfully land a plane in flight simulator, ever. My cam looks off to the right a bit. I'll have a look in a second once I've stopped. So I've stopped at Wembley Central. If you fail to stop at a station... And this is a very well-known saying in... Camera looks alright. Put it there, I guess. That helps with your alignmentness. If you when you make a mistake on the railways, they say that you have a meeting with the your manager without tea and biscuits. So if you're meeting with the trainer driver and there's no tea and biscuits, you know you've done goofed. That's what they say. So skipping a station would be a no tea and biscuit situation. You know, missing the stop marker by a few meters, that would be a tea and biscuit situation. They'd mention it, but you'd be okay. But if you miss the stop completely, there's no tea and biscuits. So yeah, the severity of any railway-related incident is measured on the tea and biscuit scale. That's genuinely true. Ask any train driver, they'll say the same thing. I'm not making it up. So when you go into this underpass, you've then got to really lay on the power, as unintuitive as that seems, because you then go uphill again, and now you'll struggle to keep the power on. So it's all about knowing when and where to put your throttle up and things, which you get good at with practice. Yeah, the tea and biscuit scale. If you get tea and biscuits, you know you're not in that much trouble. But if there's no tea and biscuits, you're in trouble. There are faster trains I could drive, yes. Tea with no biscuits is like, yeah, you're not in that much trouble, but you should probably feel ashamed for what you've done. Like a tea with no biscuits is that is, again, it's a genuine thing. So if it's a tea with no biscuits, then yeah, it's not been the best day out for you, to be honest. But you're not, you're not out of a job or anything. You'll be all right. An example of a tea but no biscuits kind of situation might be... what would be a tea with no biscuits? Being really late, maybe? Something like that. Being slightly over the speed limit. Tea no biscuits. That kind of thing, maybe. Yeah, biscuits but no tea is torture. Biscuits but no tea. I'd just start looking for a new job, to be honest. If you were in for biscuits and no tea. The Concorde of tram. Well, the fastest trains on this game would probably either be the ICE train. There's the Southeastern High Speed train, which goes along High Speed 1. Which is effectively the Channel Tunnel bit, which, again, I did that early this year when I went to Germany. It was fun. And then there's the TGV. We've got the French TGV. So we can... Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I mean, are you bored with the London Underground? London Underground. Oh, the camera's leaning to the right. That's weird, isn't it? Oh, I'll fix that. I don't know how to fix that. Remember, the background isn't real, though, right? So that's you know. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. You're upside down. I get the feeling that Mike is bored of this train. He wants to see a fast train. You don't like the London Underground, I'm shocked. Even though shockingly little of this has been underground so far. Sir, this is a Greg's. Please stop needing an exorcism. Yeah. You cannot crash into other trains because you wouldn't. The only way to crash into another train. It's not strictly true. I mean, there might be situations where you could do it. For example, if you were given permission to pass the limit of shunt to couple into another train. And there are situations where you would do that in this game. And instead of coupling into the train, you just decided to give it a big old smack in the arse by just like going into it at full speed. You could do that. And then all that would happen is like everything would just fly everywhere and it would just say game over. But generally speaking, you can't do it because if I try to catch up to the next train, because it's in the section ahead of me, the signal's red, right? And if you pass a red signal in this game, it just ends the game because you've done goofed. That is a very no tea and very no biscuit situation if you pass a red signal. So it doesn't alter for you. It just comes up saying you passed a red signal. Now away with you. In fairness, there's actually a very good technical reason for it, because if you tuned into the Elden Ring stream when I was dicking around at the start of that, I mentioned the fact that the nice thing about this game is that it is a full living and breathing world, in that it's not just like drive a train from A to B. It's like a fully operational railway. Like, it's a full timetable with trains that run 24 hours a day. Like, you could sit there forever and it would just carry on going. Like, there's an actual signaler that's controlling all the signals, and things happen in a real and dynamic way, which is great because it's very realistic and it just makes it feel quite alive. But it also means that if you pass a red signal, the signaler has no clue what to do, so the game just collapses on itself because it just can't get out of that situation, because you've gone and fucked up, and like it can't path anything anywhere anymore. Like, you just the game kind of just collapses. So to be fair, there's a very good technical reason why they just end the game, because it just couldn't work after that point. So it's got bad AI. Okay. I mean, the AI, as simple as this game looks, the AI is incredibly complex. What this thing does is really difficult. Like, it's not an easy feat. Like, it's quite technically complex to make all this work and just work properly. On this route, especially the London Underground one, where there's like a train every 3 minutes, I think there's something like 3,000 or 4,000 services per day. And yeah, if you go past the red light, the signaling, the train doesn't know what to do, because no trains behind you can ever get past you because you've gone past a red signal, and you can't go forwards because you've created this kind of the dispatcher doesn't know what's happening because there's now 2 trains in one section, for example. It just breaks everything. It's just not, and you just don't do that. Like, the other side of a red signal is unholy ground. Like, you just don't go there. It's not the dumb thing. So this is as true in real life, by the way, as it is in the game. Like, if you go past a red signal in real life, it's no tea and no biscuits, but all pandemonium does break loose. Like, it's a bad situation. People are dispatched. Breathalyzer tests are done. Wow. Someone's coming in hard on the what do they call those? Tokens. Hello, Andrew. If a train driver passes a red signal, the world ceases to exist and gets rolled back to a previous state. It kind of implodes in on itself in a kind of like a black hole, really. There is a mod that allows you to break the. Yeah, there is actually. That's a good point. There is a there is a mod that'll stop spads from ending the game, I think. I was kind of hoping you wouldn't bring that up. No, I'm not putting on the SPAD mod. Sorry. How many biscuits with the teas? But these are a really good question. I think if you put 1 biscuit with the cup of tea, that is kind of an offensive, number of biscuits for anyone, really. Like, if someone offered you just 1 biscuit, and it depends on what the biscuit is too. Like, if it was 1 chocolate digestive, then fair enough. If it was just one plain digestive, then that's offensive, you know. That's I don't like you, but I but I'm not going to tell you that to your face, kind of biscuit. If they just keep handing you biscuits and don't stop, then that's the basis for a sexual harassment suit. I mean, that's just too much. Coming on strong and just giving me bonbons constantly. You just no. While maintaining eye contact, especially so. We're coming up to Queen's Park, which is the last station on the overground section of this underground route. We have to slow down to 15 miles an hour while we go through the shed here. Queen's Park is very busy. It's where a lot of services through the underground section terminate. As you can see there's another head shunt with a service in it. So we need to keep an eye on the signals because we're now getting into the busy section of the London Underground. The actual proper underground proper. But we seem to have green signals, so we're doing okay. But as you can see, there'll be a lot of trains around Queen's Park. There's a lot of trains around the Queen's Park. Hydrate? Certainly will. The signaller will decide the route you go on. So the signaller is setting the route. Sometimes you set the points yourself if you're in like a yard or something like that, and it's like manually switching points. You actually have to, because this game is also, interestingly enough, a first-person shooter. So you actually have to get up out of your cab and like get out and go and pull the lever to switch the points in a yard and stuff. But yeah, this is it. So you can have a look around. Oh, I should probably turn the lights on. That's what a dingus. I didn't turn the lights on. Better. Let there be light. But yeah, you can get around and look around and you can explore. Well, it simulates the engineer's back pain in that I have back pain. So yeah, pretty much it does. It doesn't simulate the Oyster cards, unfortunately, so I can't get through the barriers. But yeah, so you would actually have to get out and deal with shit sometimes. There's nobody on my train. It's probably because it's just been plunged in darkness the entire time. Nobody's getting on my raggedy ass train with the weird driver that's just talking to himself the entire time. What have I done? There we go. There we go. What's my favourite part of the network in the UK? That is a phenomenal question. I'm very late. I'm not too late. No, I am late. Yeah, you're right. It's a difficult question, that. The Settle in Carlisle line is very picturesque. If you ever get a chance to do it, it's nice. But then if you want to go fast and exciting, then, High Speed 1 is very fun. Edinburgh kind of area's got a lot of fun stuff, Fourth Rail Bridge and all that. Oh, this is where we get aggressive. Are we going to stop in time? Are we going to stop in time? Are we going to stop in time? This is going to be perfect, I think. Nailed it. Wow. That's how you do it. That's the London Underground. You can do Harry Potter trains. If you go to Scotland, I actually have a Scottish route on this. I have the Glasgow loop line. I forget the name of it, but yes, it does indeed simulate Scottish barbarian raiders. You have to, if you go on, yeah, in Americans pronounce it Glasgow. Have you ever been to Glasgow? Edinburgh is the best one. Edinburgh. I got the train between Edinburgh and Glasgow. I can't do an American accent. I apologise to the Americans in the audience, but what was I going to say? There are steam trains in this, yeah. So we can do a steam train next if you like. We can pretty much leave the London Underground where it is because it's more or less just exactly the same thing now for about 17 stops. Just tunnels and underground stops. So, shall we do something different? Yeah, we're trying to get the. I need to next time I speak to James, James or Zach or Morgan. I'll try and get them to pronounce Loughborough and see what the results. You want to drive the HST? All right, we'll leave the London Underground where it is because we've kind of seen that and done that. Leeds is in the game. We've got Northern Transpennine. It's set in the 80s. That's the only downside. But it's basically Manchester Victoria to Leeds. And it's got the old Manchester Victoria in it. I'll show you very quickly. I won't do this route because it's kind of like... Eh. But, Leeds isn't real. Leeds is real. Leeds is here. This is Leeds. Here's a Class 47. That's the train I drove in real life. That one there. It's probably one of my favourites because it's kind of... I don't know. It looks adorable for some weird reason. It's like a friendly face. But I drove one of these once. But this is Leeds. It's not changed much really because Leeds never does. It's got those CRT monitors there, which is nice. The British Rail Sandwich from the train buffet. Traveller's Fare. Lovely. That is a traditional British Rail Sandwich. One slice of ham, which has been folded over in the middle. So when you cut it in half, it looks like 2 slices of ham. But really, it's just 1 slice of ham that's been folded in half. Legitimately how they used to do the British Rail Sandwich. That is the quality of service you got on our railway back then. And arguably still do. There you go, Leeds. It's a real place. Yeah, it should be meat bread meat. It's true. It's true. They did get that fundamentally wrong. All right, Mikey. What kind of high speed do you want? You've got yeah, Victoria. The old Victoria. I'll show you the old Victoria because you'll appreciate it. It's even got Stalybridge, Ashton-under-Lyne, Miles Platin, and Manchester Victoria. Well, if you get like 2 cups of tea and 4 to 6 biscuits, then you've done a good job. Here we are in Manchester. There was the they have patched it in. So the CIS building was missing, and there was a patch recently that added it in. There it is. So good job, developers, for noticing the CIS building was missing and adding that in. But yeah, this is the old Manchester Victoria. I kind of remember it being like this as a kid. It's quite realistic. But all of this has now been covered with an arena where the kids go to see things like the Little Mix. So it's not. It's a bit more draconian than this now. I think it's lost its charm, if I'm honest. But yeah, this is what it used to look like. Believe it or not. It's quite good. Anyway, anywho, I used to commute there every day to go to work. Yes. The file kitty is asleep, I'm afraid, and Mr. Brown and White is downstairs being a bit thick, as he usually is. Mikey wants fast trains. We can either do the Schnell Fahrstreckenkollen, which I did IRL for the old Gamescom in Germany. So that's the German one that goes fast. We've got the LGV Mediterranean. They're trying to do it. LGV Mediterranean. Is that how you pronounce it? Don't know, but it's French. There are no Japanese trains, sadly. There are no hover trains, sadly. There's the Isle of Wight, which has a hovercraft, but not a hover train. So I'm sorry about that. We got the Great Western, the old Intercity 125. That's a fast train. As the name suggests, it goes 125 miles an hour. And then we've got Southeastern High Speed, which is the high speed one line. The nice thing about this one is you get a 1 in 20 chance of getting the trainbow. So we could roll the dice on that for fun. Let's do the Southeastern High Speed. It's fun. Alright then. What weather do we want? Because we've been doing relatively clear. We can either do clear, we can do foggy, which is a bit shit because you won't see anything. We can do light clouds. We can do lightning storms. We can do light snow, snowstorms, lightning storms. Let's do a lightning storm. Fair enough. And we'll go from St. Pancras International to Margate. Why not? Let's treat ourselves, shall we? Actually, no, let's do... Because that goes on the slow route. Let's do St. Pancras to St. Pancras, because it goes in a loop. But really, it just takes us to the end in Kent. Cool. Cool, very cool. Cool. We don't have Nottingham to London, sorry, Mikey. We have Brighton to London. We have Reading to London. But we don't yet have Nottingham, sorry. Did we get the trainbow? It's unlikely, to be honest. It's only a 1 in however many's chance. We did not get the trainbow. Sad times. Don't forget to watch Stranger Things Series 3. Now on Netflix. I actually have that poster on the wall. It's nice. Yeah, no trainbow. We'll see if we can spot it, though. It might go past. as we travel around on our journeys. You want me to steal? Okay, fair enough. We don't want this one anymore. If you see anything suspicious, text the British Transport Police on 61016. See it, say it, sorted. And now we're gonna go and steal a train. It's snowing! I don't like the snow. Don't actually text 6... That's a real number. And it is the British Transport Police, so don't text that number, please. Because it is a real number. There we go. The only problem is, this one doesn't leave for like another 10 minutes. So if I steal this one, we're just sitting here doing nothing. And it doesn't really make a difference. But you can steal it if you want to. Did you hear the thunder rolling in? Look, there's a good service on all London Underground lines. Oh no, there's minor delays on the Circle line and on the Victoria line and on the Hammersmith and City. How does the Hammersmith and City have delays? It's like literally one train going between two stops. I know I'm late. It's because you were trying to make me steal trains, which were not my train. Right, this train is complicated because it uses a combination of British signalling systems and continental signalling systems. It also has the ability to switch between overhead lines and the third rail lines that we were using on the London Underground. So you've got DC, which is third rail, and this one, which stands for Channel Tunnel Rail Link, which is what we're on now, which is overheads. So the overheads give you more juice, so you go faster. Better put the windscreen wipers on quite fast, I think, because it's stormy outside. Well, this is quite cozy, isn't it, for a nice winter stream? So this is British signalling, traditional green, yellow, red signals with fibre optic indicators above them. We'll be getting there in a second, Mikey, don't worry. We'll be going much faster than 120. Also, because it's using continental signalling systems, this one's in kilometres an hour rather than miles per hour. So that's worth noting there. So this is your old school. So that's like a repeater signal for this signal. So that one says that's fine. This is the stuff you'll see everywhere. But in a minute, in a second, we'll go into the tunnel, and we'll change to European signalling, which is in cab, and it'll tell you how fast you need to go on the screen. It was funny when Boris Johnson was Prime Minister because he's made some really strange statement that people could just decide whether they wanted to use metric or imperial or whatever, and he was kind of like, okay dude, measurements are important, and you know, maybe consistency is not a bad thing, and letting people just willy-nilly switch between like, you know, here we go, now we're going fast. Now we can turn these off because we're in a tunnel. Now we'll be going fast. We'll be going fast outside soon, so don't worry about the long tunnel sections. We'll be in tunnels for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll be outside. So now we're on in-cab European signalling. There's no signals. The train tells you how fast you can go, and it's what they call a rolling block. So as long as you're the same distance behind the train in front of you, you can kind of roll along together. You don't have like, with normal signals, obviously, like the space between the two signals is a section, whereas this is like a rolling thing, so it'll just dynamically tell you how fast you can go. So now we can go 200 kilometers an hour and it's fine, and if we have to slow down, it will change and it'll tell us what we need to slow down to and by when. So the train just tells you what to do. It's quite good. It's quite clever. So now we can go up to 225. See that blinking on the screen there? Now we back to 200, so we've hit something somewhere. So you'll see these flags come past the screen. They're like blue and yellow flags, like with a triangle mark on them. You'll see one any second now. There it is. So that's like, so when it gives you a new speed, you have to have been hit. You have to hit that speed before the next flag, if that makes sense. So we now have to make sure by the time we hit the next flag that we're doing 160. There's the next flag, so we're doing okay. If you're going too fast when you do pass the next flag, then the train will be like, fuck you! And the brakes will just come on. Because you did goofed. And then you're going to have a conversation with your manager without tea and biscuits. Or, if you're on the French side of the tunnel, without the wine and croissant. That was slightly racist, but don't worry about it. You can walk around the train right now, except the train will stop because you have to keep your foot on the pedals, because that's how the train knows you're not dead. So if you take your foot off the pedal, then the train's like, you're dead, and it'll just stop. You can turn that off, so I can just walk around the train while it moves by itself, but it's not really... the wine and croissant scale is very similar to the tea and biscuits scale, but just kind of like swap them around. So it's like one croissant, many glasses of wine, as opposed to one cup of tea and many biscuits. So just kind of inverse to the power of 3, and you kind of understand the tea and biscuits / wine and croissant scale. No, I don't have to actually hold a key down. The game does it for me. But if I get out of the chair, then that's like lifting your foot off the pedal. Here we are at Stratford International. No, if you get out of the chair in real life, the train does not still move because, again, you've lifted your foot off the pedal and the train will be just like, no, and the train stops. It's called a dead man's handle or a dead man's pedal, and basically, like, if something happens to the driver, the train will stop because you have to be physically, and it's quite, you have to put some pressure on it. Like, it's not a light pedal. Like, you have to push down on this pedal because otherwise... You know, it's a safety measure to make sure that the train knows that you're alive. Again, I don't like to sound macabre about it, but it's just the fact. It's just how it works. Yes, you can just be a passenger and let the trains drive themselves and just chill as a passenger all day long. You can do that. Yes, you can just ride around infinitely on the timetable. I'm leaving slightly earlier, but that's okay. Well, no, but that's the thing. That's as depressing as it sounds. That's the point. Like, if the driver did have a cardiac arrest, then the train would stop because he wouldn't be able to push the pedal down anymore. So the train brakes will just come on. It's a bit of a grim situation. Thankfully, it doesn't really happen often, if at all. But that's what it's there for. I'll show you. I'll get out of the seat. I didn't turn the safety system on, did I? There we go. Now the safety systems are on. Now if I get out of the seat, now the train's like, oh no! Things have gone wrong. It is taking a surprising amount of time to stop, isn't it? I think it depends on the train. I think on this one it doesn't put the brakes on, it just cuts the power. Which is weird. It behaves differently on different trains, but you get the idea. Yeah, Mikey's worried now because it's like that train didn't stop fast enough. Choo Choo Charles, I know the developer of Choo Choo Charles, and yes, I'll be very much playing Choo Choo Charles a lot. And also he did another game called No Snake Hotel, which was quite good, which was a very short game. But Choo Choo Charles looks like it's on another level of greatness. Quite excited for that. He's alright. There's a lot of games like that on itch.io. It's just, I don't know, it's just fun, innit? It's just creepypasta. It's funny. It's just Thomas the Tank Engine creepypasta, but without having to actually be Thomas the Tank Engine, because obviously that's copyright Brit Allcroft. But so the beep is because I'm not doing anything, because we're just accelerating and there's no reason to touch anything, so I'm not braking, I'm not accelerating, I'm not pressing any buttons. If you don't interact with the cab in any way for like 1 minute 30 seconds or something like that, the train will beep at you and you have to lift your foot off the pedal and put it down again, because that lets the train know that you're still paying attention, and that you haven't like drifted off to sleep or something like that. So it just did it again. So that's just because I'm not doing anything. If I'm touching things and doing things, then the beep doesn't happen because the train knows that I'm there because I'm doing stuff. But if you don't do anything for a period of time, then the train beeps just to make sure you're still awake. That's effectively all that is. And you just have to acknowledge it. Otherwise, again, the train will stop. This is all exactly how it is in real life, yes. It's all exactly how it is in real life. All the trains are very, 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 very accurate in the way they work. Yeah, it really is needy. It's true. Demands your constant attention. We'll be coming out of the tunnel in a minute, you'll be pleased to know, Mikey, and then you'll get to see some fast. Yeah, pretty much. They needed one of those bird pecker things, but one that can push the pedal down. Here we go. See, we're going quite fast now. Doing 205 kilometers an hour, which is what, about 180 miles an hour, something like that? $140? Probably 140. I think 180 is the maximum that it does. 128.002. Well, good for you and your calculator. 128 is basically 130, which is nearly 140, which was my second guess. So I was close-ish. Too fast. It went past quite quickly, but that other one wasn't the trained bow either, I'm afraid to say. That's different logic altogether, frankly. I haven't broken any speed limits. Anyway. To be honest, it is quite impressive the way that you can move this quickly through a massive world through a massive map in Unreal Engine 4 and just have it work. I mean, I know they did a lot of work to make this work in Unreal Engine 4 because like if you move through a map this fast in Unreal Engine 4. In any other Unreal Engine 4 game, like you would be constantly like hitting like tile chunk loads. Whereas this still has some tile loads, but like it's quite good. It's quite seamless. Also, the maps are just huge. Like the tiles are not massive. No, they're normal sized tiles. They're like. They just did a very good job on making it work for what is, frankly, a ridiculous use case. It's like, because, I mean, Epic, well, like, obviously did not have this in mind when they designed Unreal Engine 4, so... No, it's not. There's nothing wrong with the scale or anything like that. They just changed the way that tile streaming works so that it's, you know... There are routes without the tunnels though, where it's the same. Like there are routes entirely without tunnels which just go on for like 50 miles, and there's no loading or anything like that. It's just all very seamless. So we're now approaching platform 6 of Ebbsfleet International. The only train station in the UK which has the title of an international train station doesn't actually have any international train stopping there. It's entirely domestic, but they call it international anyway for shits and robotic giggles. Bad news, Mikey. I've picked the wrong train. I think we're going on the slow lines. I think they just called it Ebbsfleet International because when they built High Speed 1, they built this station as part of it. So that noise was a AWS alert because we're about to transition back into traditional British signalling. So that is to just tell me that we're about to change to old style signals. But yeah, they built it as part of High Speed 1, and I guess they just called it International because it sounded fancy. I don't know, but it's yeah. We're not going fast anymore, I'm afraid, Mikey. I'm sorry. I picked the wrong train. You can carry on down High Speed 1, but I picked the wrong train. Well, but I'll show you now because is this one the trainbow? This one is not the trainbow. Because the overhead wires are about to go away and change into the third rail type power, we have to change our power method. So here's what we do. We hold down the DC button for 3 seconds. The DC button lights up. We press pan up, shoes down to lower the pantograph. And lower the shoes, which has happened. And then we press that again to reset the circuit breaker. And now we're using the rails on the floor rather than the wires on the roof. And with any luck, we'll still be able to move. We can still move. That's good news. Because the overhead wires are 25 kilovolts and the ones on the floor are 750 volts DC. You accelerate way more slowly when you're on the third rail, and so it's replicated in the game. So now we're not accelerating as fast as we were before. It's a bit more sluggish. You don't get as much power, and you can't go as fast. Third rail is bad. It does generate a lot of sparks, though, I believe, especially in the snow. Should we see? Can't see any sparks. Ooh, a freight train. How exciting. Anyway. Kind of. So what happened was, all of our railways were built in the Victorian times. And really, like, there were just different railway companies that were just doing different things. So, you only really see third rail like this in London and kind of in the southeast of England, because what was in those days the Southern Railway decided we're going to do it this way, because why not? They could do what they want, because every region, there was like the Southern Railway, there was the London North Eastern Railway, there was the London Midland and Scottish, and then there was the Great Western Railway. And the Southern Railway was just kind of like, meh, we'll just do it with third rails instead, because like you say, it's cheaper, and things of that nature. And also because you oh shit, I'm going far too fast. I think we're done with this route. We've done the fun bit. But yeah, also because it makes sense in some situations, because you don't have to build as many power stations, or you have to build less. I can't remember which way around it goes, but anyway. Yeah. So we just inherit this mishmash of different systems. So now we just have to build trains that can cope with mishmashes of different systems, because they were just built that way by different companies in the olden days. And it's too expensive to modernize it. But the rest of the country uses the overhead stuff, the fizzy knitting, as we call it. Because that's so the fizzy knitting is the standard, really. That's what it should be. What would you like to do next? We can do steam trains. We can do German trains. We can do big American freight trains. We can do local Cornish trains. We can do Isle of Wight trains. We can do Scottish trains. We can do Great Western trains, French trains. London commuter trains. A train battle royale. There is a train battle royale. It's called the training centre. Where every single train has turned up to the party, and you can basically take them all and run them round in a big circle, and you know, havoc ensues. It's just a big racetrack. The only downside with this one is it's really hard to get out on. I've never actually done it. You know, I've never actually managed to get a train onto this big circle because you have to actually manually navigate it through all of this shit. So you've basically got to take a train and put it all the way out here. And then you've got to reset all these points to get it all the way back out here again. No, not even. How do you even... I guess you've got to go down this way. This way? What does this train do? If I get in this train, I'm there. So I kind of want to go across. I think I want to go this way. Yeah. So I want to go this way. This is the first-person shooter element of the game. Cacodemons will just like spring out of that portaloo and stuff. You can't be too careful. Am I going the right way? Yeah, so now I want to go this way. The training centre is quite fun because the entire map is explorable on foot. And it's just full of Easter eggs. Absolutely chock-a-block with Easter eggs. It's quite fun. Train is the... I think it might be this German boy that we want to take. It is. Here we go. This will go fast, Mikey. You'll like this one. This is one of the trains I went to Germany in. Or across Germany in. Don't get too excited for these streams being a regular thing. It's unlikely. It's unlikely. You want to see something cool? And this happens in real life. Oh, this works in real life. The train on these German ICE3 trains, if the driver wants to allow it, and you're lucky enough to be up the front here, in first, you can see out the front. It's just got like a clear glass window. But if the driver wants a bit of privacy, there is a button here somewhere. Not sure which one it is. There it is. That makes the windows opaque, and the windows just turn out, so now you can't see in. How fun is that? I don't know how it works, witchcraft or something, but The last steam engine built in Britain was in 2006. And I'll let you ponder that for a second. The train's talking German. I don't know how to make the German train do things. We're going. There we go. I'll be honest, German trains are not my forte because combination of the fact that, well, it's just not my territory, combined with the fact that I don't speak German. But we managed to get it moving, so that's good news. I'll tell you a story. Just double check my facts before I say anything. The last proper steam train, I shouldn't say train really, the last proper steam locomotive, as in built because it was for revenue, actual proper, not for touristy Harry Potter shit reasons. The last proper steam train was built in Britain in 1960. And it was number 92220. And British Rail, or British Railways as they were known at the time, held a competition amongst their staff to decide what the name of the final ever steam locomotive would be. And they chose the name Evening Star. And the first ever train, like proper actual, not the rocket, not the proper prototype-y type shit, like the actual proper first, the proper first passenger train, built by George Stephenson back way when, was called Morning Star. So it had kind of gone from Morning Star to Evening Star. So it was quite, it was a nice little thing that they did. So there you go. That's a story. How fast can we go? That is the question. This is pretty fast, if I'm honest. Like, especially when you're going around a corner, like, it feels fast. It feels quite fast. Also, shall we see if we can get it to leave the tracks? That sounds like fun, doesn't it? We do have mountains, or at least we have poor excuses for mountains. We have Mount Snowdon and things like that. I mean, are they really mountains when you compare them to the big fuckers you have in America and stuff, and Canada? It's debatable. I mean, you can certainly go up there and die on them, if that counts as a mountain. Scotland has mountains. Wales has a mountain or two. Mikey, what's 240? What's 250 kilometers an hour in miles an hour? Quick. Because this does feel fast now. This feels very fast. Yeah, they can probably kill you from colder oxygen. So yeah, they're probably... No, oxygen, no. There's no mountains in Britain where you're going to run out of oxygen. They're not that tall. Let me see. Ben Nevis is the tallest mountain in the United Kingdom at a height of 1,345 metres. And Ben Nevis is a Gaelic phrase, and it translates into modern English as venomous mountain. Or mountain with its head in the clouds. So there you go. If we compare it to Everest, Mount Everest is 8,850 meters, so 8 times as tall. I think that gives you a rough idea of just how puny our mountains can be. We're going very fast now. The game isn't happy. 300 kph to mph. We're currently doing 186 miles an hour. It's fast. I will not rest until we have yeeted this train off this track. We probably want a nice external view for it if we're going to do it, to be honest. Yeet, yeet, yeet. We'll see if we can get it to do it through centrifugal force alone, and if it fails then I'll throw some points on it somewhere so it just flies off. Look, those look like a juicy set of points to cause havoc with. Oh, there it goes! Bye-bye! What the fuck happened there? It just kind of went meow, and everything just flew off in many directions. In many miles an hour. That was a bit weird. Didn't even get to see the fruits of our labour for more than a split second there, I'm sad to say. But it worked. Alright then. Pick a route, any route. Thank you for the clip. I want to see that again. Just the noise it made was just intense. It was just like... The camera just kind of went in a big circle under the ground because it didn't know what to do. And then you just see the train splitting apart, and then you just see like the coupler between the train stretch between them because like the physics engine doesn't know what the fuck to do. That was funny. That was funny. We did fly. We got at least 400 foot in the air there. That was flying. That's the very definition of flight. Let's do a steam train. Since we were talking about steam trains. And actually, Evening Star was not an 8F, but it was a 9F. So it was very similar to this one. Evening Star. But we'll do a passenger train. We'll do an LMS Jubilee. And we'll go from Liverpool Lime Street to Chester. It's quite a short route, actually, so it doesn't take too long to do. Let's do a later service so it's not dark. Let's do... let's do... There you go. London Euston to Blackpool Central, but really we're going to Crewe. And I'll try and teach you how to drive a steam train. It's a little bit complicated and I don't quite remember how to do it, but I have a rough idea. So here we are. Where are we? This is not Liverpool. We're in Crewe. Whoops. I've gone the wrong way round, but that's okay. Here we are in Crewe. Platform number 3. Our beast for today is number 45703. Thunderer. What a name. Thunderer. Now, with a steam train, it's an entirely different kettle of fish. Kettle joke. Here we are at Crewe. There's no stop and go in a steam train in the traditional sense. These old carriages. These LMS maroon colours. Let me try and remember what we need to do. So we need to release the brakes, and we need to open the large ejector so that the brake pressure in the brake cylinders comes down quicker. So now the brake pressure has been taken out of the brake cylinders, we can close the large ejector so that when we put the brakes on, brake pressure actually builds up. We have to make sure the cylinder cocks are open, because if we put steam into the cylinders when we first set off, and we don't have the cylinder cocks open, which are these things here, then too much pressure in the cylinder would probably make them explode. So you have to make sure your cylinder cocks are open when you set off. We need to put the reverser fully forwards, and the reverser and the regulator, which is this big handle here, kind of work in tandem. So when you start off, you have to have the reverser fully forwards, but only a little bit of regulator, and that'll kind of like push you forwards quite fast. But slowly you bring the reverser back, and you increase the regulator so that you're kind of more, so it's more power efficient or something. I don't fully know. Also, I don't know why the shadows are flickering. That's kind of weird. Yeah, it's also so I could say the word cocks. Got me. Your boy with the coal just handles himself, so you can worry about that. Look at that magic shovel. Look at this firebox door. Lovely stuff. What is wrong with the shadows? Is it because of the light flickering through the steam? I wonder. Might be why. This is the safety valve. Because we're not going anywhere, we're like building up steam, but we're not using it. So it blows through the safety valve so that the boiler doesn't have too much pressure inside it. Which is why when when a steam train is stopped, it'll just blow steam off like this in a really loud way. If you've never seen a steam train up close in real life, it's intense. It's elemental stuff. They're loud, hot, noisy. They smell like coal, and you know it's quite fun actually. You should definitely go and see a steam train for realsies if you haven't done before. So reverse is fully forward, cylinder cocks are open, so we'll apply a little bit of regulator, not too much. And then you want to leave it maybe like 3 or 4 chuffs. Then you can close the cylinder cocks, so we're not wasting steam. And we're off. Put a bit more in. Now we'll bring our reverser back a little bit. A bit more regulator. Hey! It's working! I remembered how to do it. It's great news. True North Junction signal box. It's still there in real life. I've been there. It's great. I like the physics where you can see the tender rolling around. More coal! Let's open up the regulator. Let's pull the reverser back so we can build up some speed. Colour light signals, so we're okay. Green, go. Just meander along now, really. Just enjoy the view. So this was what Britain was like in the 1950s. Just kind of like dull and brick. Everyone drove around in like these kind of old cars and stuff. I know. I think if you think about it, right? The railways were to the Victorians what the internet is to us now. Like, in so many ways. Because before the railways, if you wanted to travel between one place and another, you had to do it basically by horse or horse and carriage. It took forever. You couldn't, you know, and steamships and things, but like most people didn't travel, and if they did, they didn't travel far. And what the railways did is they made the world a smaller place because they connected all of these towns and cities together, so it was really easy to get from one place to another, which, much like the internet, leads to the spread of information. It created, like, so for example, the one thing that the railways are also responsible for is the telegraph. Because when they built all of these trains, they built these next to them, these telegraph lines. Because the telegraph lines were a way for the signaller in this signal box to tell the signaller in the next signal box that the next train was coming. So they invented the telegraph, more or less, for that reason. And someone was like, well, you know, we've got this system where we can send messages down these telegraphs. So why don't we just use them to let people send messages? And that's like how telegrams kind of came about. And then you've got other things like time. So like before the railways, there was no such thing as standardized time. Midday was when the sun was highest in the sky, right? That was just midday. So midday in London was different to midday in Manchester because they were physically far apart and there was no standardized time. So because of railways, you have standardized time. So it literally is all of the things like the internet revolution is, in that it just changed so much in such a short space of time that, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that people were like really skeptical and thought it was like the loss of, you know, society as we know it and all those kinds of things. There was a famous story about Oxford College wouldn't allow a railway station to be built in Oxford for the longest time because they felt that the students would take the train into London, and they didn't want the good students of Oxford to be exposed to the debauchery of drink and prostitution that could be found in London. So they didn't allow a train station to be built there for the longest time. And the railway companies were kind of like, you know what, that's fine, we won't build a station in Oxford. But they then sneakily just used to stop the trains there anyway for operational reasons, so that students could get on and off the train anyway. And if you go back and read about it, there's just some wild stories like that. Wild stories. You know, it's not that exciting, but it's interesting. History is interesting, isn't it? It seems like such a weird thing to worry about these days. Like, we're really chugging along now. Look at us go. Look at these pistons and things. I always found this mesmerizing to watch. Like, how does all this shit work and not fall off? Like, it's crazy. It really is mesmerizing. Big heavy pieces of metal just rolling around, all linked together perfectly and not just conflicting and falling apart. It's quite good, isn't it? The engineering involved is quite interesting. Clever. This is probably about as fast as this thing's gonna go, if I'm honest. Like, we really are rattling along. Also, this train has no safety systems whatsoever, so I can quite happily, you know, jump out of my chair and just go for a wander. What I can also do, if I really wanted to, is I could just, you know, oh, it's not letting me. Thought I could just abandon the train. Abandon train! I'm going to find a way to abandon this train if it's the last thing I do. Let me off. Let me off. It's not having it. No bueno. Can I fizz glitch myself with the door? There must be some kind of boundary break thing we can do here. Oh, nearly. It's not having it. It's not letting it go. Fine. Wow, we're going very fast. Let's close the regulator. I want to apply a little bit of brake, actually. So we put some air in the brakes, slowed down a bit, and then we let the air back out again, which is the way to do that. I forgot to stop at Winsford. We just ploughed straight through. That's a meeting with your line manager with no tea and biscuits. Bye-bye. I was too excited by the steam train to remember to stop. You know what? Let me off this train. Oh, very nearly. Oh, wow. I've managed to fizz glitch into the tender. How do I can't get out of this situation now. What the frick? Right. Okay. I managed to work myself loose at least. I want to abandon this train and just let it go. Nobody's driving the train. There it goes. Bye, train. Bye-bye. That's how you do it. That's how you abuse the physics engine to no-clip your way through an invisible wall. Bye, train. Bye-bye. Better start walking then, I suppose. Service failure, signal passed at danger. Mistakes were indeed made. We'll drive one more train journey. Morgan, welcome. Pick a train, any train. You can have Boston Sprinter. If you like Boston and you like snowy weather, you've got the Cathcart Circle in Glasgow. You've got the East of England. You've got the Great Western Express. You've got the Isle of Wight, either modern or old. You've got the French TGV, LGV Métropole. You've got the London commuter between London and Brighton. You've got the Long Island Railroad if you like New York. You got some German stuff in Dresden, some German stuff in Cologne, which is where I went for Gamescom. Fun. You've got German stuff with the rapid transit. You've got American stuff on the Sandpatch Grade. You've got American stuff on the Gay-John Pass. Pick your poison. She's probably left. But, you know. So if anyone else has any preferences, strong or otherwise. Dead silence. Got one vote from Red on Amtrak. I think Boston Sprinter has the Amtrak stuff. Boston Sprinter's quite good, actually. I like Boston Sprinter. We might have a look at that in a second. Wait and see if anyone else chimes in, or if Morgan is there indeed. It's more, I guess it's less about where, like what part of the world do you want to see? Basically, do you want to go to America or France or Germany? Or do you want to stay in Britain? That's basically what it boils down to. So if you want America, Boston, do you want America, New York? Do you want America, like, I don't know, what's this, like Utah or something? Gay-John? Part of America's that? Is that kind of like the, I'm guessing it's kind of like, you don't, you're in America, so you want to go anywhere else. Fair enough. All right, let's pick London commuter. Do we want London? Let's pick London because it's interesting. There's a lot going on. Also, aeroplanes. Let's go from London Victoria to Gatwick Airport because it's 30 minutes. It's doable and we'll see some planes at the end. Let's put some light clouds on. And let's get started. This is probably my favourite route because it's got the largest variety of trains on it. So it's just got almost every single type of train on it. It's quite varied. You see loads of stuff. There's just trains everywhere all the time. It's like that in real life. It's the busiest stretch of railway in the country. It's also quite detailed because it's in central London for the first like 10 minutes. It's also got an airport on it where you see planes and stuff. It's quite good. I like this route. Put the headlights on, put the safety systems on.
TPWS and AWS operational.
Good to know that the TPWS and the AWS are indeed operational. Our chariot for today is Class 387 number 219 in Gatwick Express livery. Going to Gatwick Airport, stopping only at Gatwick Airport and Gatwick Airport. Why, silly game? You got that wrong. Never mind. The train's so good it stopped at Gatwick twice. It's a lifetime ban from Tea and Biscuits if you bail out of a running steam train. I agree. It is indeed a lifetime ban from Tea and Biscuits. It's a full-on, you're going to prison, murder happened. You're in trouble. A very no tea and very no biscuit situation for the rest of your living days, I would be sad to say. I think we're nearly ready to leave. We're leaving at bang on 9 o'clock. It's now... So when we get to 52, I'm going to close the doors. Because by the time it hits 9 o'clock, the doors will have actually shut. Perfect. Put some power on. Yeah, thank you for clipping the steam train ejector seat moment. That was good fun. I knew it could be done because I'd done it before, but it's quite hard to do that, so I'm glad it paid off. I could have been there for a while trying to figure that out. The beginning of this route is a bit chuggy on the frame rate. What are we on here? 20 or 25 FPS? It's very detailed and there's a lot of trains in this section. But I don't think the frame rate is massively important for a game like this, so it's not that bad. So I'll give you the tour. We're just leaving London Victoria, right in the heart of central London. You can see on the left there, Battersea Power Station. A very famous coal-powered power station. So that beep was because we have a green signal, so we're happy to go. Battersea Power Station's like a shopping centre now or something, and all this other kind of, I don't know, artisan stuff. I'm not sure. I haven't actually been there since it's been refurbished. But yeah, so that's your Battersea Power Stations. And then there's lots of modern apartments around here which no doubt cost thousands of pounds per month in rent. Because London is a very expensive place to live. So there's just trains queuing up everywhere, it's crazy. There's another train there. There's just a train there. There's a train there. There's just trains everywhere. I think this route is a bit slow as well just because of the number. I think it's CPU bottleneck. I think it's literally just trying to do so many calculations for so many trains at the same time. It's a bit intense. When you get away from London, it does get a bit better. Hello, Morgan friend. You are still there. Sorry, I did let you have a pick of the route, but I didn't hear from you, so I moved on. But yeah, it's quite nice, isn't it? Sunset, sunrise, I should say. We're now approaching Clapham Junction. Clapham Junction is the busiest station in the UK with the most number of trains that pass through it. Up to something like 60 trains an hour pass through Clapham Junction. It's also home to Britain's widest billboard, which is there, as you can see. And apparently this does hold the record for Britain's widest billboard. It currently has an advertisement for Emirates written on it. As you can see, it's quite a wide boy. So there you go, Britain's widest billboard there. Things you know, things you didn't know, but now you do. The more you know, something like that. This is Clapham Junction. But we're not stopping, we're going direct to Gatwick Airport, where we'll find planes. Put some power on. Can't remember what the planes are. They might be EasyJet planes, I can't remember. We'll see when we get there. There might be something generic, I forgot. But there are planes, real actual planes, and they land and they take off and all kinds of stuff. It's fun. Well, I mean, that's about it really. It's not that exciting, but, you know, planes are good. Everyone likes planes. So speed limit's about to go up to 70, so we can put a bit of throttle on. Nice. I think that signal was at yellow for a second. We're going to get a ding. Ding. But there might be there's probably a train ahead of us because again this route is just so full of trains that we might end up what we call chasing yellows, which means that the train in front of us is just a little bit slower than we are, so we're just like hitting a yellow and then another yellow and then another yellow. We'll see. Still green. Green is good, green is go. So the way signaling works, I think I've explained it before, but just as a refresher. The distance between two signals, so if you've got a signal there and a signal there, the space between those two signals is called a block section, and we call it block section working. So only one train can be in one block. So that's beeping at me because I'm not pressing any or doing anything like before. So only one train can be in one block. So only one train can be between any two sets of signals, right? A green signal means that the block in front of you, so the space between that signal and the signal ahead, is empty. And the space between the next signal and the signal after that is also empty. So a green signal means that the next few blocks are free and you can go as fast as the line speed allows because the blocks are empty and there's no trains and you're fine. When you hit a signal that has two yellows, it means that the block ahead of that has one yellow because the block ahead of that is occupied. So it's red because there's a train in that section. So two yellows means be prepared for the fact that the next signal is yellow, which means be prepared for the fact that the next signal after that is red. Collision is a very biscuitless meeting. Collision usually results in death, unless it's at very low speed. So collision is no joke. Collision is not a tea and biscuit situation. Yeah, so a double yellow means the next signal is yellow, and yellow means the next signal is red. So that's how signals work. So if there's a train moving ahead of you, roughly at the same speed, you can end up what we call chasing yellows. So like you've got a double yellow, and then the next one is also double yellow, and the next one is also double yellow, because the train that's occupying the blocks in front of you is moving more or less the same speed you are, but you're kind of just following behind it a little bit. And you have to be vigilant because it can be very easy to get complacent because you're like, oh, I'm chasing yellows, so I don't need to worry about it. And then suddenly the double yellows become the single yellow, become the red, and you don't realize, and you can, you know, get yourself in trouble. So you have to be very attentive to what the signals are doing. It's not as easy as it seems, but we're all right at the moment because it's all green, so there's no drama. Tea and biscuits. I think I'm going to have a cup of tea and some biscuits after this. I've just been talking about tea and biscuits so much. I'm just thirsty now. It's thirsty work. Oh, I'm going a bit too fast. Brake, brake, brake. Didn't pay attention to the speed limits going up there. So this is a double yellow, I think. Yes. So the double yellow means that the next section is yellow. At least it was at the moment we passed it. If that makes sense. It's quite possible that the train in front of us has stopped at this station, and therefore it's going to stop us outside the station because our route through has been occupied by the train ahead of us. We will see. So that alarm means that the signal is either at yellow or red, and that I have to acknowledge that fact. So I have to press a button within 3 seconds, otherwise the brakes will come on. It's called the automatic warning system, and it's basically just a way to make sure the driver has paid attention to the signal. It's a safety feature. So that's a single yellow, which means that the one at the end of the platform is going... Oh, it's changed to double yellow, so we can speed up a little bit. That's okay. So exciting, isn't it? Thrilling stuff. it's a single yellow. So the next one should be red. It might not be red, but you have to treat it as if it is going to be red, because you don't know that it's not, if you know what I mean. So you kind of have to slow down enough that you'll be able to stop if you have to stop. I think it's yellow though. It is yellow. It's now double yellow. This is what, so this is chasing yellows. This is the annoying world of chasing yellow signals. Because it dropped to green while I could still see it, I now know that the next one is at worst double yellow. So now I can speed up a bit, because I know I've got 2 blocks worth of space to work with. So, yeah. Back on green. Back on greens. Off we go. Lovely stuff. What kind of tea are you making? Are you making regular Tetley's tea, or are you making like Lips on Souchong tea, or green tea, or cinnamon apple spice? Lovely stuff. To be honest, that kind of stuff doesn't fly around here, Red. Your fancy cinnamon apple spice. If you're in Yorkshire, it has to be Yorkshire tea or Tetley's tea. If it's not Yorkshire tea or Tetley's, then you're doing tea wrong. But as a more cultured man myself, I appreciate your cinnamon apple spice, and I would join you in a cup. I know, that's well, I have to admit, even though we consider ourselves a nation of tea drinkers, we're very basic on the tea. We just have Tetley's tea bags. I'm sure if you've been down the World Foods aisle in Walmart, you'll find Tetley's tea bags, or similar, Yorkshire tea. And it's just tea, innit? It's just basic. It's just your basic tea. Very basic cup of tea. There's no spices or flavours or anything other than just, you know, bog standard tea. And that is all people in this country drink, just basic tea. I don't know why we don't make tea a bit more interesting in this country. Whereas actually in America, you've got the box, you've got the wooden box with all the teas, all the various teas. You've got the different flavours. You've got you've got your English breakfast. You've got your Earl Grey. You've got the spicy apple cinnamons. You've got the lavender and green herb from Resident Evil. You've got the full sweet Colorado. Like, you've got the full smorgasbord of teas. Whereas here, if you present a Yorkshireman with a choice of tea flavours, he'd be like, what are you talking about? I just want a cup of tea. What's all this? What is this Lipsyong Sushi Non tea? I just want tea. So yeah, don't listen to the British know all about tea. We're an uncultured tea culture. Here are the 15 most popular tea flavours around the world. Number 1 is the Irish breakfast tea, which sounds, I can see why that's probably most popular. It's got a malt. Of course, it's got malt in it because it's Irish. Why would it not have Why would it not have a malt flavour to it? So Irish breakfast sounds good. A golf, yeah, golf tea is good. Very good, Steve. Very good. Golf tea. You know, I didn't think Pill was here. Is he feeding these to you? Mint tea. Unsurprisingly, tastes minty. Apparently, the third most popular is a honeybush mandarin and orange. That sounds wonderful. A bit of honeybush mandarin and orange. Unsurprisingly, the next most popular is chamomile, which is apparently very good for your health. Lots of antioxidants and things. After that, we've got chai. Again, quite popular Indian tea. Then we've got green tea. I'm quite partial to a green tea myself. Almond. I'm not big on almonds, but I can see how that might work in a tea. Almond tea. Peach. I don't know if I'm not keen on peach. I don't think a peach tea is for me. But why is 11 people watching me drive a train and talk about tea? Peach tea coming in there at number 8. Then we've got Earl Grey, which of course is a classic British tea. I guess it's just no milk. It's kind of one of those kind of situations. Lemon coming in at number 10. Lemon sounds like a lemon tea is good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Number 11, cinnamon. Cinnamon sounds fantastic, actually. I think I'd be down for a cinnamon tea. Then we've got Darjeeling. I don't think I've ever had Darjeeling, but it's quite a popular one. So apparently it's thin-bodied, light-coloured infusion with a beautiful aroma when brewed properly. So it sounds like it's a technically complex tea. Darjeeling, but that sounds good. A controversial one coming in at number 13. It's Pumpkin Spice Black, which is a very flavourful and spicy tea, which has a sweet pumpkin flavour addition to it. It's a great option to energise yourself on a warm, cosy day. Now, Pumpkin Spice Black sounds like an interesting, controversial choice. And then coming in at rock bottom is your boring old English breakfast Yorkshire tea. Frankly, the most basic tea. Darjeeling plus chocolate. I don't know what it tastes like, Darjeeling, but I'm intrigued. I'm gonna have to try and pick up a cup of Darjeeling at some stage. See what it's all about. Just cruising along, minding our own business on our way to Gatwick. No dramas. I don't think it'll let me jump off this train, to be honest, because again, when I stand up, the alarms will go off, and I don't think it'll let you jump out the door. So I think we're safe on this one. But we need to slow down to 80 because we're coming up to quite a sharp bend as when we leave this tunnel, if I recall. So we'll slow down a little bit. Do you know, it's funny when you talk about water like that, because it's the same. Actually, it's the same in the UK, and I think that I'm not an expert on water, but it's like the difference between soft water and hard water. And I'll talk to you about lights on trains in a minute. That's another fascinating subject that will bore you pretty much to sleep, but we'll come on to that in a second. But hard water is so hard water. I think it depends if you live in a place like in the north of England where I am. It's soft water, which is apparently better water for you, and in London and down south the water is hard water, which apparently is like a crappier water. So therefore you want a stronger tea for the hard water, I think. But anyway, lights on trains. The lights are on, but nobody's home. So you've got this light, which is for day running, and you've got this big light, which is for night running, and you've got these two, which are called marker lights, and they're basically just so they're not intended to illuminate anything. The marker lights turn red when they're in reverse, so they're also what we call the tail lights. So tail and marker lights, daylight, nightlight. And they're not designed to light anything up. So they're not there to actually let you see in the dark. So when you turn the headlights on a train at night or in a tunnel, you don't really see anything. It's still dark out of the window. They're designed to do two things. The day headlight is designed primarily to let people know that you're coming, right? It's basically to let track workers know that you're a fucking train and that you're coming in this direction and you should pay attention to me because I'm a fucking train. Why do we have a different light at night? The night light is purely there to illuminate the trackside signage. So you'll see along the side of the track, and you've seen me reacting to them properly, like you'll have speed boards, like you'll have basically the circular signs and the triangle signs at the side of the track that basically tell you what the speed limit is, or you'll have like a W for sound the horn and other things. So the night light is actually installed at an angle. So this light is actually installed at kind of like a 45 degree-ish angle. So it's actually shining off to the side to light up the signs. But it's not there to... That is a double yellow, so I need to pay attention. But it's not there to actually light, light anything up. So it's not there so you can see. Because to be honest, the train knows where it's going anyway. You don't need to see. So as long as you can see the signals and you know how fast you need to go, you're all right. You're golden. You're golden wonder. So there you go. The more you know. Did you see that plane, Morgan? It was very exciting. We're near the airport now. So this is a single yellow. It's also a divergent. So we're going in on platform 6. So that fiber optic platform indicator tells us which platform we're going to be on. And that we're going to be taking a set of points off to the left. So, yeah. Great. So we need to slow down a bit because we're doing some points and stuff. Can you hear the planes? Alright, Mikey. You don't need to throw all the shade. Plane! When you stop at a red signal at a station, before you do anything else, you have to turn on something called the DRA, or the Driver's Reminder Appliance. And the Driver's Reminders Appliance on this train, I can't see where it is. There it is. You have to flip that switch on. And it lights up red, and it basically means that you can't take power. So if you try and take power, it won't work. And the reason for that is, like, if you get distracted and you're busy doing other things, and then you try and think, oh, I'm done with this station, I'm just going to leave. This is a reminder that you have to check the signal first before you do anything else. So you have to go, oh, right, this is not red anymore. Now I can turn the DRA off. So because this is red, I'm going to leave the DRA on. So that's what that's for. There you go. Another thing you've learned. Again, it's just a little check reminder. We're done. We did a service. Congratulations to me. Gold star. We arrived 2 minutes early. And our speed limits were fine. We did a good job there. Great. I'll return to the free roam so you can see the planes. It's gone quite foggy, hasn't it? It was clear. It was a clear day when we set off. It's typical, isn't it? We turn up here and it's foggy. My train is about to turn into the 0929 to Gatwick Airport, even though we're already at Gatwick Airport. So that probably explains why it stopped at Gatwick Airport and Gatwick Airport. But whatever, game. Do you. Peace. It's too dark. We couldn't see. Too much fog. God damn it. Let me move this camera over here. Trains, planes, and automobiles. Fucking fog. There are planes on the airport, trust me, it's just foggy. Because reasons. Anyway. Move! That is literally Britain Simulator. Bam, 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 bam. Do people want more? Or do we want to end the stream there? I'm happy either way, but I will let the Vox Populi decide if they want more trains or not. You want to see Boston? Yeah, we'll see Boston. We should do something not British. Would you like the Amtrak train, or would you like the pink train? Or would you like the cab car of the pink train? It's a difficult choice, I know. If it helps, the Amtrak train goes fast, and the pink train stops everywhere. But the pink train is pink, and therefore is a much more exciting proposition. Would you like the pink locomotive, or would you like the pink cab car? The cab car is basically the other end of this. So it's this going backwards. The locomotive. Morgan's giving it some thought. Red's voting Amtrak. The pink train's already won. Sorry, Red. You'll see the Amtrak trains out the window, but the pink train, I think, is the winner. Because it's pink. Morgan now throwing random shade at the pink train after being initially quite excited. Hurting its feelings out of nowhere there. We'll drive the Amtrak train and we'll see the pink trains out of the window. Because you can't see the train you're on, can you? So, you know. I don't know what the difference is between those two. Would you like to go from Providence to Boston? Or from Boston to Providence? I'm vaguely familiar with Amtrak law, yes, but not massively so. I'm sure you'll know more about Amtrak stuff than I do. I'm definitely not as knowledgeable, I'm afraid. Should we do Boston first? Because Boston's nice. We want snow, right? We want snow. Absolutely want snow. Not a snowstorm, but we want light snow. Is it winter in Boston? The snow on the Boston route is actually quite nice. Like if you're going to drive a route on this with snow, Boston's the one to choose. It's really nice. Snow on all the other routes is a bit shit, but snow on Boston, they've done a good job because it's Boston and it just needs to snow properly. So, pop the reverser handle in, place it into forward, and I think that's basically all she wrote because I don't understand the safety systems in this country, so I'm just not going to bother. We should turn the headlights on for sure. Nice. Look at those big... Have we got markers that we can turn on? Ditch lights. That's probably what we want. Ditch lights, marker lights, same thing, probably. Perfect. Look, there's the pink trains. Lots of pink. Talking about making a bold statement. It's pink everywhere. Beautiful stuff. I like the way that American trains are just fundamentally different. Like this locomotive is made by Siemens, I think, so this is a very European locomotive for you guys, but the coaches are just like 1950s style, kind of like the whole thing going on. It's basically just an aluminum can. I like it. It's different. It's good stuff. Business class. All that stuff. Cool. Let's see if we can make this thing move. We're in forwards. Put some power on. Oh, I bet you've got independent brakes. We do. Release the brakes. Brake pressure come off. Now let's put some power on. Will it move? Will it move? It's not moving. Friends, I don't know how to make this train move. I'm pressing the move button. He won't move. Exit. The move button is indeed W. It's W to go forwards and S to slow down, but it's not working. Let's reset. So power handle off. Reverse it out. Reset that. Pantographs up. Circuit breakers open. Brakes are in release. Let's put the handle back in. Put it back into forwards. What does all this stuff even mean? This is literally the final boss, it's true. I can turn the cab heater on. Maybe not. Does this stuff work? No. I bet it's the brake mode. I bet I need to put it in passenger mode. I bet that's what it was. Put some brake on. Then take the brakes off. There we go, we're moving. It was the... I figured it out. Look at that. Up there for thinking, down there for dancing. That's how it works. We're off to Boston Bay. Track 1 in 15,000 feet. 55,000 feet. 15,000, idiot. Why is everything being measured in feet? Because we're in America, I suppose. I know I'm behind schedule. I had trouble figuring out the strategy for the final boss. Boston is pretty. In the snow. I have never been to Boston. I'm sure you guys have. Does it look like Boston? I assume it vaguely does. Probably not in any massive amount of detail. But, you know, there's the river they turn green for Paddy's Day and all that business. Or is that Chicago? I don't remember. I'm not American. Some weird glitching going on there. I think that's because I tabbed out and tabbed back. The train that you just saw there, which has the Train Sim World 2 logo on it, rather than Train Sim World 3, is very meta because this train has that on it in real life, and the game replicates the train that promotes the game with the real life advert of the train in the train game. So wrap your head around that one. But there you go. Stuff and reasons. It is triple meta. This is very leisurely coming out of Boston, isn't it? Very leisurely indeed. There we go, we can put a bit of power on now. That's great. Oh, I like that motor sound. Ooh, that sounds very futuristic. Has anyone in the chat been to Boston? Also, what would be the American equivalent of tea and biscuits, or you know, wine and croissant? Like, what if you went for a meeting with your supervisor in America? What's the equivalent of tea and biscuits, and what would they withheld if you've been naughty? Is it like, you know, beer and hot wings? Like, you know, tell me what's the American version of tea and biscuits? Coffee and donut. Of course it is. It's coffee and donuts. Absolutely, good shout. Coffee and Krispy Kremes. Yeah. So if we fuck up on this, it's a meeting with the manager without coffee and Krispy Kremes. What's the Canadian equivalent? Is it like pancakes and syrup? Or is it just literally that you don't meet with your manager in Canada? They just go, sorry, very sorry. And everyone just goes their own separate ways. See, I put too much power on then and the wheels started to slip, which is why the speed wasn't going up and the red lines appeared. So I need to be very slow on speeding up on this route, because I guess because of the snow. But like if I put, see, I've put the throttle on to max and now the speed's just like, whoa, the wheels are just spinning. The wheels are just spinning on the spot. So that's wild. We don't want to do that. I think I went past the station I was supposed to stop at again. But that's okay. We're just going to drive for fun. Although I don't know what that signal means. What's red and green? I think Boston's a write-off. Yay. I think I've screwed up this. I'm not used to doing American trains, if I'm honest. Yeah, apparently my pre-Elden Ring train meme was popular enough that people actually wanted to watch trains. And for some reason, wildly successful. I think it's like ASMR. People are just up for the trains and chill. So we've learned a lot about tea and biscuits, croissant and wine, donuts and coffee, headlights, signals, and the top 15 teas around the world. The, you know, top 10 hits of Barry Manilow. Like, it's been all kinds of stuff going on. It's been an emotional roller coaster, this stream. I feel like now I've blasted through the station I was supposed to stop at, that really I'm just driving without an objective now, which feels a bit cheap. Maybe I should just restart the scenario and do it. Yeah, that's a red signal, isn't it? Because that's just red. No, it's still got a green on it. What does green and red even mean? I don't know what American signals are all about. Why would you have red and green? It's just confusing. Speed up. Right, I'll put all the speed on. I'll give it all she's got, Captain. But again, I can't because the wheels are slipping because it's icy. So I need to chill. I like the scenery though. Boston is fun. Yeah, the graffiti is quite fun in this game. It looks realistic. Just the cab's just nodding up and down like a donkey. Just like boing, 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 boing. This is actually quite wild. There's two terms for this. Here we go. Let's do some facts again about trains. When a train starts to bounce from side to side or from left to right, so it kind of hits the flanges off the rails, like left and right and left and right, it's called hunting oscillation. It's because it's kind of like an animal hunting, right? It's kind of doing that left and right thing. And it's because the resonant frequency of the train and the tracks kind of get in line, so that you just end up in this kind of bouncing from left to right kind of situation. Hunting oscillation is not good, because you can, if it gets too bad, you know, hunt and oscillate your way off the track. This is bouncing oscillation. I think there's a different term for it. I can't remember what it is, but it's effectively the same phenomenon, but like in the XY axis. So instead of going left and right, you're bouncing up and down and up and down. And you're just doing it in a way that you just happen to be doing it in the resonant frequency of the train or whatever. So you just bounce and bounce and bounce until you bounce more, and then eventually you could bounce yourself off the track. So it's interesting that we happen to be doing a lot of bouncing right now. It's very bouncy indeed. I'm sure it's fine. A green over a red over a red. What's a green over a red over a red? Got two reds over a green now. I don't know what any of this means. Help! Ooh, what's that? Ooh, it's an American freight locos. How exciting. Some variety in traction there. Those were just blank. I don't know what those signals were. I think there might, you know, there is an in-cab signal there, because it does say cab signal aspect clear. But I don't know if this works or not, and I don't know if there's signals there. Why is there a signal there? So I genuinely don't know enough about this system to know what's going on. It could just be all clear. I think it is, because we haven't stopped yet. But you know, buggered if I know what a green over red means. Presumably it means you're good, but I just don't know. Green is good, right? Yeah, I'm surprised that I didn't think American trains got that fast, to be honest. This is quite respectable for a train, this. 125 is fast. I've been driving all kinds of trains today, to be honest, but I should make the effort to learn more about American trains and German trains. I know a little bit more about European and German trains, but American trains, I just don't have a clue. Not the slightest clue. Obviously, apart from the basics that are all shared across, but like signals and stuff, I don't know. But yeah, the snow, this is nice. This is a nice Christmas vibe going on. Christmas is coming. Enjoying the snow. I also find it weird that your platforms are so low down to the ground, and that you have steps up onto the train. That's wild to me. It's not Disability Discrimination Act friendly, is it? But it's interesting stuff. That's true. In Britain, trains drive on the left. And in America, we're driving on the right. Here's a wild thing. Trains in Britain drive on the left, and trains in France drive on the right, and the rest of Europe. And when I went on the Channel Tunnel, we went into the tunnel on the left-hand side, and we came out of the tunnel on the right-hand side, because then we were just in France, and now we were driving on the right. And at some point in the middle of the tunnel, you cross over, so the trains cross over from the left track to the right track, and vice versa. So when you come out the other side, you're on the other side. And you don't really notice it because you're in a tunnel, so it's kind of weird. It's just like, oh shit, we're on the other side now. It's just, yeah, that's a fun fact that I enjoyed about my trip through the Channel Tunnel. It's these things you don't think about. Slam the brakes and see what happens. Fair enough. Well, we don't have to do that because we've got a big... Or we should have a big red emergency button somewhere. Unless you guys are just not down with the safety features. Seems like you guys are just simply not down with the safety features. But, I mean, there should be a big red stop the train button, really. That's worrying, isn't it? Oh, you got a bell. Don't worry, we have a bell, so people can at least hear us crashing. I like the horn, though. That's fun. Oh look, the lights flashed too with the bell and fun stuff. Ooh, there's a big red stop button. I've pressed it. Oh, that's quite harsh braking. That's quite intense. That would throw you on your feet, throw you off your feet, I should say. That's quite tough stuff. Bye, train. Bye-bye! Apparently I'm allowed to jump out of this one. That's stopping quite intensely, you know? That stopped. Those are some shit hot brakes. If you consider the amount of tear tonnage that you just had to stop there. That was impressive. That was an impressive stop. Excuse me. Let me in. Let me in. Yeah. Excuse me, let me in. Can't climb up. Oh no, I've set off an alarm. Help. There's no coffee and donuts for me today. Do not press the emergency brake button and jump out of the train. It's not the done thing. No coffee, no donuts. No Krispy Kremes for me today. As I say, Northeast Regional. Oh, it's got a name. Oh no, it says food service bar. Food service. What's on the menu? I want to get on the train so I can see what's on the menu. Oh, steps! Amazing. What are you selling? You know what? I'll give up control and let the AI drive it. Perfect. Let the computer take over the train. Great. So it's all got some kind of 1980s kind of vibe about it. I like the fact that it's basically like sitting in a canteen. You've got canteen tables, canteen chairs. Got a canteen with actual canteen. There's no menu. What's on the menu? I'll never know. Ranger, high voltage. Fire extinguish. I was hoping for a menu, if I'm honest. It's got a coffee machine. That's nice. I like the wheelchair space. Presuming there's a wheelchair space. Either that or they just forgot to put a seat in. Well, I guess the driver who's taking over from me is struggling to recover the situation I've created for him. Oh, it's because this fucking door's open. Why is this door open? Do you know what's happened? I know what's happened. So the situation is this. I plowed through so many stations that we were supposed to stop at that the AI driver doesn't know what to do, because that's why he's just opened all the doors and just kind of gone. Eh? I've done goofed. You don't need the full train, do you? Just uncouple the thing. Let it go. Let it go. I opened one door. I didn't open all of the doors. The AI driver's opened all of the doors because he doesn't know what to do with himself. Let's go back to the main menu. In fact, let's just restart. Solution, divorce, AI driver. That's true. We'll just immediately give up the service because we don't want it. I want to go look inside the pink train. It's pink! Danger. American flags. Warning. Ooh, can you go? No. This looks more like a big boy train, doesn't it? Look at this. Big buttons and levers and things. It's very clearly pink. Is this dress purple or pink? Okay, maybe it's purple. I like the fact that on a passenger train they'll just be like, yeah, sure, you can commit suicide if you want. Just, you know, yeet yourself off there. We'll put a bar there, like a, you know, just some token thing to stop you from mangling yourself in the machinery. But, you know, if you want to have at it, get some fresh air, knock yourself out. Literally. This train looks very 1970s, doesn't it? It's got almost Starship Enterprise kind of vibes about it. Wow, that bar is like, no, the physics on that bar are like going wild. That safety bar doesn't know what to do. Oh, it's gone now. It's happy now. It's retracted. There is overhead storage. There is the racks. There's the overhead storage racks there, and there seems to be I'm guessing this is space for luggage. The toilet. All of the amenities. No smoking under General Laws Chapter 272 Section 43A, punishable by imprisonment for not more than 10 days or by a fine of not more than $50 or full stop, or if you get a particularly narky judge, both. Interesting stuff. For your own safety. Only board or exit at the door staffed by a conductor, except in the case of an emergency. Passengers are not permitted to ride in the vestibule. Shouldn't ride in the vestibule. I'm hoping there's a buffet car with a menu. I want to know what foods are on offer. I'm hungry. I have a hankering for a burger. I'm guessing this has been a commuter train, hasn't got a buffet car. Yeah, there's no buffet car. Sad times. No buffet today. My train's gone. My train's gone. I like the fact that you call them track 9 and stuff instead of platform. I always find that fun. Take me alive. Okie dokie. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Oh, hello. I'm not supposed to be inside the train. Oh no. Oh no. How do I get out of this? I can't move. I've lost all of my limbs. Help me. Why is there this much detail underneath? You know you have a flashlight, by the way. Yes, this game has a flashlight. Why is there this much detail underneath the train? Who's ever looking at this? It's quite good, I suppose. How the frick do I get out of here? Oh, we've screwed that up. One more? I think we're done. If there's any burning desire to see anything else that we haven't seen yet, then state your piece. Otherwise, I might go to bed. We haven't done France or Germany today. I'll show you Cologne very quickly because fun, isn't it? Cologne Hauptbahnhof. Hauptbahnhof is German for big station. So this is Cologne Hauptbahnhof. I've been here. It's good. It's a big station full of German trains doing German stuff. When I was there, it was busy as anything. There was people everywhere. So this is unrealistically quiet. But you've got regional trains, you've got the IC trains. I'll show you some Easter eggs. Because I know where there's an Easter egg in this game. In this route. So this is like a convention center of some kind, I believe. You've got the Kölner Dom, which is the largest cathedral in Europe. Right outside the station. You can even hear the bells going. Give that a listen. It's an Orlando! It's the largest cathedral in Europe, and I'm not religious in any way, but I went inside. It's nice. I gave them a small donation, because you know, it's only the polite thing to do, even if I'm not Christian. But it's an impressive cathedral. There's a great chest ahead. It is very much a Dark Souls-esque building, isn't it? It's very gothic. it's an Anno Londo type situation. It is inside as well. Oh, hello. So we went for a wander around here briefly. Oh, look, a plane. This bridge is there in real life. It's really quite an impressive bridge with all kinds of trains going off here. And obviously you've got the Rhine, the River Rhine there, which we spent some time on. There's like a road bridge over there where the trams go across, but you can't see them on this. But in real life, this is here, and it's like a horse with a knight riding on it. But in this game, it's a donkey. Because every single level, or every single route has a donkey on it, as an Easter egg somewhere, a hidden donkey. And the only reason you can run down this end of the route is just so you can see the donkey. So there you go. It's an Easter egg donkey. Enjoy the donkey. Donkeys? Is there a boat? Is there a boat? Is there a boat on the Rhine? No, it's just a pillar. No boats on the Rhine today. Oh, there's another donkey. 2 donkeys. I like donkeys. Donkeys are cool. I'm clearly delirious. Right, that's enough for one day. Thank you very much for tuning in to some Trains and Chill. I'm very surprised at the popularity of this, so we might do it again. We might not. We'll see how things go. Tune in tomorrow for what could be the conclusion of Elden Ring. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be on Sunday or Monday, but I think it'll be this weekend. So we're getting near the end. So stay tuned for that. Yeah. Cool. Bye bye.